currently working on a long form video about Harry and Meghan and the pieces that have come out since the couple left working royal life 5 years ago about how they are failing in America. And the cherry on top is their neighbors in Montecito overwhelmingly don't like them. Keeping that in mind, if the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are seen as pariahs in their upper crust community, then why did a family that is described as philanthropic and in the upper echelon of this Montecito enclave, why did they rent their home to Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, for her Netflix show? Now, yes, obviously money plays a role. They didn't give it to her for free. The rent was £5 million. But we have to keep in mind this is a very, very wealthy community. If the concern that we keep hearing is that the Duke and Duchess are bringing too much unwanted attention to Montecito, then why would you rent out a home in Montecito that will showcase Montecito? It really doesn't prove this whole everybody hates Has and Meghan. And some people might reply to this and say, well, that's just one example. Well, yes, but we've also only seen a handful of unnamed sources from people in Montecito who don't like Harry and Meghan living there. Specifically, the reason being because of the unwanted attention the couple bring to this small private enclave, which has a lot to do with the media that follows them while claiming that they are irrelevant and no one is interested in them. We also know from incredible reporting from Sneha, I tagged her, go check it out, from last year, who actually spoke to someone who was interviewed for one of those pieces, that their words get twisted. Not to mention the fact that in a lot of these pieces, we are not shown how the question is framed when a reporter asks someone what they think of Harry and Meghan living in Montecito. We also never hear how many people were asked in total. And that's because this whole talking point, this story that keeps coming up about what neighbors think of Harry and Meghan, is nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. But if you say it enough and you repeat it enough and you see it in enough headlines, people start to believe it. Similar to things like this. Fans all have the same complaint over Meghan's new Netflix series as they rage. This looks terrible. Except, oh boy, fans don't all have the same complaint over Meghan's new Netflix series. And calling them all fans is a stretch because some of the comments are so clearly negative and they're all just culled from Twitter. It's just screenshots from accounts on Twitter that spoke about the Netflix show. That's it. That's the reporting. How are they verifying that these tweets are from real people? How do we know that these aren't bots? How do we know that this is not astroturfing? According to The Guardian, astroturfing is, quote, the attempt to create an impression of widespread grassroots support for a policy, individual, or product where little such support exists. This gets really confusing when fake engagement finds its way into posts with genuine social media users. And then it becomes a social proof, a, quote, psychological effect in which people like or support things that already seem popular with others, end quote. This is not proof that people overwhelmingly have the same complaint and rage against Meghan's Netflix series. But it does drive a specific point of view and a message. What it does is influence casual viewers on social media who might then say something like, oh, wow, it seems like everyone hates this show I'm not going to watch. Or, yeah, I heard about the new show. Sounds like people really hate it. It sounds really bad. Or, I heard it's really bad. Well, where did you hear it from? I don't know what the show is going to be like. I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be people who love it and people who hate it. And that will largely have to do with how people feel about Meghan Markle. Compiling a bunch of tweets that are both negative and positive is not fair and balanced reporting. That's not both sides. Unless you've reached out and verified that it's a real person, then this article really isn't doing much of anything.